Hello, baby. How you doing?
Hello, darling.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hey, oh, let's go.
Hey, 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 hey.
All week long.
It's Monday.
Yeah, that's all right. Court is in session. All rise and get ready. Put on your deodorant, especially if you have Old Spice, please.
Yeah, this guy putting on deodorant right here live. We watched him waiting for things to start popping off. This is a courtroom that we'll be seeing some places call it TPOs, which is a temporary protective order. I believe here they call them PPOs. Okay, Creed? Is there it's
yeah, it's Colty. Yeah,
I thought it was
it's time to stream.
I thought there was a huge black bush that got out of control there at your house. I think they call them PPOs here, personal protective orders. So I mean, it's just depending on where we're at. Restraining orders here in my state, we just call it a restraining order.
And then these two lovebirds here, he's holding their hand. You said they were about making out.
Yeah, he has been, which I think this has something to, their case is really weird. The judge had a lot of pausing, having to look up stuff, things like that. We've dismissed a bunch of people, as a matter of fact. So it's been, we haven't really gotten to any good cases yet over here, but the day is young, like Terminator and everyone else here. But, we're hopeful that something juicy, Junior, real juicy, will pop off.
Well, let's jump into it, see what they're doing. And also, you got something from Middleton, too, that happened earlier. We want to.
Yeah. Right? As a matter of fact, you know what I want to do? If we can jump to your static real quick, I'm going to jump out of this and just show you one of the amazing appearances that we had in this courtroom already today that I'm hopeful this person will return, because they seem to be quite the character. We enjoy character work around here. I don't know if you're new. If you're not new, you won't know that. Monkey's here.
You see everybody jumping in. Hope you had a good weekend. And don't forget, today we got a mini chase Monday, and then members only at 5:30 East for we got a chase.
Brutal. Today it'll be a brutal members only, so if you love it crazy, we got tons of that. I'll go ahead and just play this. Keep your eye on Mr. Payne down here.
All right.
Oh, Deb
getting her going before the monetary monorail even leaves the station on a Monday.
Look at that, your first one on. We'll go ahead and check this out though.
185.
Is that his crotch? What are we looking at?
Hello?
White and is that his?
Right.
He's got a white.
Why don't you mute your microphone? Are you
able
to my calendar so that I can look? Oh, thanks. That would be great.
Damn.
You could, Mr. Payne, if you would mute your microphone, please. We're in the middle of a hearing.
Is this the courtroom I'm supposed to be in?
Mr. Payne, mute your microphone. I'm in the middle of someone else's hearing. You're interrupting, so please do that.
I don't want to go to jail.
Okay, good.
So, as you can see, we were dealing with a cast of characters. Some of these people have been dismissed. Some of them are coming back.
Hey, Daddy.
I don't know exactly. Daddy's here. I don't know exactly what Mr. Payne is here for, but hopefully we'll see him come back.
You can have his own.
Yeah, we had a very interesting manning earlier. That was look at that. Boom, the train's filling up before it can even leave.
Bud, thank you and hallelujah.
Is Mr. Payne putting us under his shirt?
I'm not sure. It's
in this court's case.
Well, no, against my client with respect to a credit card, which you actually have some of that information.
Yeah, but yeah. So
Right. I did review, go
We're
back.
gonna
and
jump
review
out of
EPA
this. We'll go back to the
testimony
live
95,
court.
'cause it was our-
But yeah, Mr. Payne, hopefully will be making a return to the courtroom because my God, I love the guy. He's already one of my personal favorites. And if we're one of your personal favorites, don't forget to like the video because me and Creed, we need the likes.
Gosh, she's in a bad mood today. Look at her.
Oof, boy.
Look at that face. I'm so glad I'm not in front of she heard Judge Walden today. My God.
Zoinks. She is looking rather mad.
Yes.
I don't know who did it. I'm just glad it wasn't me, Creed. I'm just glad it wasn't me.
Just like Shaggy.
If you notice, I put two Shaggies together. I don't know if anybody noticed.
I didn't even, it's too early for that.
Had a Zoinks and a was it me? Two different Shaggies. Both amazing. And both love pot. Georgia. Good to see Georgia back. Georgia. Got Georgia on my mind.
Would you ever, even if you were super smelly and you were at court, would you put on your Old Spice right on live?
I wouldn't, but I also wouldn't hang out with a huge cross and over my sweatshirt.
And there isn't anyone else here vying for a table.
Okay.
Play with whatever he's playing with. I'm not sure. It's juggling something. He's the juggler.
Your Honor, just right on the starting block, looking at caption.
Yep.
Caption block. My client had also requested to stop.
Is that a T-Bird shag party shirt he's got on? I think it says T-Bird.
Included in the
God, I
provisions.
hope
Unfortunately, for some reason, given logistics with programs, we
See?
can only mark one box at the top.
Where else do you
So,
get that kind of
with
content?
did I get that wrong? You're
Bunny's
saying the
huge.
original
today.
order was
The petition in this case asked
Right.
for unlawful
Good
harassment.
Lord.
right, and the temporary protection order was signed under harassment, but there are provisions in there.
Preventing stalking.
Yes.
Okay.
So wander through that.
I got it.
Okay.
He wants the court to know that he's really into Jesus.
He obviously would never hurt anybody. He's wearing a cross.
Yeah.
Get with it, man.
So, Mr. Otter, let me take up the matter that you filed.
Otter?
2347 against Mr. Dix.
Mr. Dick.
2347.
Otter and Dix.
And I don't, there's Mr. Dix. Mr. Dix, you there?
Hello, bag of dicks. You there?
Mr.
The
Dix,
Dix.
you just need to unmute so we can hear you.
Mr. Dix.
Can you hear me now, ma'am?
I can
Glad
hear
to
you
hear
now,
that,
Mr.
George.
Dix. All right. So, it doesn't look like you received what we call legal service, that you got the protection order and all the petition information that was filed by Mr. Auditor with the court. Did you not get that?
No, I did not. All I got was I got served by the sheriff, and I have no idea why I got served. Mr. Auditor was on my property a
What
week
did you
before all this.
get from the sheriff and when did you get it?
I got it 2 weeks ago from the sheriff. It was delivered to my work, and I asked him why he delivered it to my work because he stated Mr. Auditor didn't know my
So what
address.
did you get? Just slow down. What did you get?
A protection order, a temporary one.
So he
Okay,
has
did
been
you get
served.
any petition signed by Mr. Auditor with that?
Yes, ma'am. It was on the back of
Okay.
it. And then the sheriff couldn't
Let's
believe that you
Slow
signed off
down,
on it.
slow down. I'm just asking particular questions. I don't.
He's got
don't
the
need you to
same
go on and
mouth
on.
speech
What I'm
impediment
trying
as
to figure
Bigfoot.
out is,
It is.
so we don't have anything in the court file. We didn't get anything. Mr. Auditor, we didn't receive any information
Oh,
from the
they
sheriff.
call
as
him
to
Mr.
what they did
Auditor?
on
I thought he
service.
was.
Did you
I
get
thought Mr.
anything?
Dix was.
We got Auditor versus
I filed the paperwork and the sheriff said he was going to drop it off to his work. That's,
Okay. Well, no,
you know,
I
he,
mean, back
and
to
then,
the
and then he
court.
called.
Did get any affidavit from a sheriff deputy that says we served Mr. Dix? Signed by a sheriff deputy?
No,
You
I
didn't get
didn't.
that. No, okay.
No, ma'am.
So, Mr. Dix, can I ask you, do you feel prepared to respond to this today? It
Please say
sounds-
yes, Dick.
I just want it done with. None of this makes any sense to me. It sounds like a form of harassment toward Mr. Auditor, toward
Well,
me,
we'll
because I'm
talk
dating.
more then, but what I'm trying to get to the bottom of is if we're having a hearing today or asking for a continuance, so you can prepare, because things may not go your way, they may go your way, I don't know. haven't had a hearing.
Dennis,
But
I saw
if
that.
they
Glad
don't
you're
go
all
your
right.
way,
Wow.
would you have thought,
Daddy.
I think I need a continuance to prepare?
I guess I'll have a continuance. I just rather the matter be done
No!
with right now. I mean,
Okay. Well,
I-
I'm concerned because you didn't get service legally to a legal standard. It sounds like you got something, but I'm not sure how much information you have. And if we set this to another day, then all of the information is in the court file for both sides. And if you wanted to respond to something in writing or give some information to the court that you think is important in response to Mr. Auditor's allegations, that would give you that chance to do that, and the court could review it.
I'll do a continuance.
Dix ain't got
the-
nothing he needs to go
So then we're going
over.
to talk about some court dates. We're still looking at
Dix
March
is already
30th and March
tons of
27th.
info.
Mr. Auditor, either day. Those are Mondays. At
Either
9.
day.
Mr.
Either day is
Dix?
fine with me.
Yeah. Mr. Dix, either
Yes, ma'am.
Monday at 9, March 20, March 27, any
I'd rather see
opinions?
these two fight.
March 27th would be fine.
Okay, all right.
He's
So
just
at this
mad
stage,
because I'm
then
taking
we'll
his daughter,
reset
it
to March
is.
27th. And we'll start at 9. That gives both of you an opportunity to, certainly, Mr. Dix, to review everything,
Yeah, he's
to
like
see
covering the whole thing.
what you want to respond to, if anything.
Yeah.
I certainly will have an oral
Yeah.
response at that hearing date. And then no further services needed. Everything's available to both sides in the court file. If you have any difficulty accessing that, just contact my clerks. They're going to help you.
I hate
Go
when the
up.
judge
And
the judge
and we'll be
talks
back
them
at
out
9
of
o'clock on the
something.
27th.
No, I know. Especially when we want to see it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
He's
Thanks,
like, I'm
Mr.
ready.
Dix.
Let's
And
do
then,
this.
Mr. Auditor, I think we have another hearing with you. So Mr. Dix, you can be on your way if you like.
TK,
Another-
good luck. And yeah,
welcome.
Mr. Auditor, that I thought it's Auditor.
Oh, there's the girl. There's the girl that Mr. Dix is with. Oh, look at that smile. He knew that girl.
nice
He
love.
He made a face.
See, Ms. Stewart, you're here still with us. I think I saw you.
Hello, Beach.
Oh, there she is.
All right, so we're here on case number 2349. We have
They're
Mr.
together
Auditor.
right
I see that Mr. Auditor was served notice of all this. So Ms. Stewart, you're seeking an order to go beyond today?
Yes, please.
Okay, Mr. Auditor, you're ready for your hearing on that, or?
Yeah, I mean, there's most of the problem is with the other
I'm
party.
not
involved.
asking for facts. I'm just asking
It's
to
right.
see if you're ready today or
Yes,
not for that hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then I know where I'm headed. Okay, I'm gonna have you both mute. I'm gonna jump back up to my last matter to kind of figure out where we
Hey,
are
bro.
with everything today.
All right, so we're going to move on
back to
Stewart
Mr.
and
Ms.,
Auditor.
Pashelk, you're gonna help me how to pronounce your name. How shall I pronounce your name?
Joanga Phoenix Pashok, or just Joanga is fine.
Pashelk, all
Oh,
right.
God. Look, Austin's.
Austin's hair.
And Mr. Boyd, got you here. So take this up here, 2348.
Did they used to date?
And Ms. Pashelk, you asked for this temporary order against Mr. Boyd. We tried to have this hearing last week. I think somehow you weren't there when the court called the case. And
Correct.
so
I was,
we gave you that opportunity to come back today. So we
Imagine
lifted
getting up
that
and looking in the
denial
mirror
of
and
the
going,
order
yeah,
because of your failure to
I look
appear.
good.
So let me
It's very
go.
tight.
Let me put you both under oath, and I'm going to hear whatever further evidence I need to hear from each of you. So Ms. Pashelk, raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I swear to,
And Mr. Boyd, if
Mr.
you'd raise your right
Mr.
hand.
Auditor's walking to wherever those two are to
Swear to
murder
tell the
them real
truth, the whole
quick.
truth, and nothing but the truth, Mr. Boyd.
Yes.
Okay, now, both sides, I've read everything that's been filed from both of you and reviewed it. Ms. Pashelk then, and I see that Mr. Boyd was served notice. And so knowing that I've reviewed everything, Ms. Pashelk, anything, are you still asking for this order against Mr. Boyd?
I'm willing to drop it if
Oh,
he
do
would
that.
reframe any contact from me whatsoever. I understand it. I'm new to this area, so he didn't recognize me. And the fact that I told him multiple times what I was doing with the stack of mail that I took out of my mailbox.
So you're asking the court, you're saying you don't want to go forward with this order. You've already made it clear to Mr. Boyd you don't want any contact with him, and as long as that goes on, then you're fine. Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct.
Okay, Mr. Boyd, that's what I'm hearing. Anything to say on that? I'm going to grant the petitioner's request to deny this order and lift the order altogether, and your firearms would come back to you.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure, because we can you hear me?
Keep them
Can you hear me
firearms.
good?
Yeah.
Okay, so we already had a first case. I just want to make sure that it's not going to be just as easy for her to bring up a new
No,
case based
you're both here. You're both here today, so this case ends today.
because I had to bring up a whole new packet with 4 other pages. I went to the courthouse today, 8 o'clock. They don't open till 8:30. Like, this whole one ordeal has been stretched for almost a month now, and there's no.
You
there's
sure
no
you want to
reason for
drop
that.
this case, lady?
All right.
I have no
I'm
problem.
gonna dismiss the petition
Oh,
and
son.
end the case today. And I think obviously it's clear that Ms. Pashock doesn't want any contact with you, and probably you don't want with her. So,
No.
and as long as you keep your peace from each other, that should be
Tell
fine.
me more
it
about the
sounds like.
stack of mail.
Ms.
though.
Pashock?
Yes, I just want to add that due to having a PTSD episode, due to the situation, I actually put myself through inpatient during that time. That's why I missed court.
Oh my
Because,
God! Are you
uh,
sure you want to?
That's all right. You don't have to tell me why. We did it already. So let me pay attention to this dismissal and denial order.
Look
And
at
then
him
Mr.
smirking. Look
Boyd
at
will
him.
be able to
Oh.
go back to whatever agency it
This
was that
dude.
took the firearm, and you can get that back from them with this order. And these orders will be in the court file for both of you. Are we
Do they
gonna
have to
email
wait-
these to the
Your
just
Honor.
gonna
email to
see
the
it.
parties? No, just the file. Okay.
Well,
All right.
maybe.
So these will be in the court file for each of you.
Do I have to wait for the new order, or
I'm
'cause I'm already
signing it
waiting-
right now. I'm signing
Okay.
it right now.
Looks like a
Yeah, and
samurai.
then we'll put it into the court file.
You
If
did
you
him
felt so
justice.
inclined, you could even
Thank
come
you.
down to the
Looks
court
like a
and get a
tough guy.
copy, but you can just, we're gonna be
Badass, dude.
emailing directly to the law enforcement agency, and then you can contact them.
I do have one question, Your Honor, if I may. If
Sure.
there were to have any other incidents, and I'm just so deathly afraid of guns.
Each
That's
of
my
you
only
have the
issue.
opportunity to approach a court for an order. So each of you has that opportunity.
This
You
ain't the
can go to
last time
your
that she's
court,
gonna
district
see
court,
us.
municipal
There you go.
court. It's up to
Let me-
you,
let
and
me-
ask the court.
Let me say one
speak
thing.
on this.
Like,
I'm not gonna take any more evidence. We're just gonna stop right now, all right? It's probably best. So I'll have you mute your microphones. Let me finish up this order, and then I'll turn back to both of you. So Mr. Thanks.
She messed up, man. She should have went with this. If she's got
Absolutely.
PTSD from this guy, if she's got a stack of mail from this guy, if she's deathly afraid of him having look, hot mic.
Is that a
Starting to
child
feel
that
like
just
I'm
said
making a
something about a
mistake.
gun?
So Ms. Pashock, just mute your microphone.
This dude's
Okay,
weird.
so each of you
Yeah.
can be on your way.
I'll cook you breakfast in a second. Hold on, baby. I'm sorry.
Thank
So
you,
Mr.
Your
Boyd,
Honor.
Ms. Pashock, you can each be on your way.
Just the sound of his
Thank
voice.
you, Your Honor. I
that
appreciate you.
her to
Thank you.
tears.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm
Oh.
glad that was short. and
Oh, what a
sweet.
D-bag that guy
You're right, though.
was.
She made an absolute mistake on that, just that little bit that I saw. Unless they're really
Huge.
far away, maybe. I don't know. I
don't know.
Oh, boy.
First thing she
All
said
right,
was,
can
I'm
we
new to the
come back
area, and he
to
didn't
Shannon
recognize me.
Johnson and Ms. Elliott and Ms. Bourgeot.
Oh, hi, Elliot.
And so we're taking up
Beautiful
case number
haircut.
2346. We put the claimants or the petitioner and the respondent under oath. So
Those are
Ms. Johnson,
strange
raise your right hand.
things there.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
No.
Yes, I do.
All right. And Ms. Bourgeot, raise your right hand.
Oof.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we're here, 2346. There was no temporary order issued. We simply set a hearing to consider this request of Ms. Johnson.
Oh, it's
Ms.
Catherine.
Elliott, you're making your notice of appearance today
Oh, I
on
thought it was
behalf of Ms.
Elliot
Bourgeot.
Catherine.
And
Zoinks.
maybe you can tell me what your motions are and see if
Pass.
we're ready
No
to take
offense,
those up
Catherine
today or
Elliott.
not.
Yes, Your Honor. As the court can see from Ms. Johnson's pleadings, there is already a family law action pending in King County. That was the location of the divorce of Mr. Hussein and Ms. Boria, which is why it's the proper jurisdiction for that motion.
This case has nothing to do with
Ms.
Mr. Hussein.
Johnson, stop. I'm hearing
Okay.
from one person at a time. You will
Okay,
not
I'm so
interrupt
sorry.
each other.
Uh-oh.
Ms. Bourgeot, you
I'm
won't
sorry.
interrupt each other either. I will hear and I will turn to people, but only in order. So Ms. Elliott, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. That action did consider the CPS report and findings. That also includes the appointment of a guardian ad litem. And that action is well underway, including orders to control Mr. Hussein and Ms. Boriag's conduct as it pertains
Okay,
to
let me
their.
understand this a little bit better so I can figure out who's who.
Mr.
I
Dix's
guessed
girlfriend, I
that
believe, is
Ms.
going to speak.
Johnson was married to.
No.
Was that a necklace that
or
he
was
gave
a
that
partner.
girl that he was
Maybe
holding in his
help me
hand
understand,
for a
Ms.
Sure.
second? You
Yes,
saw
Your Honor.
that?
Ms. Boriag and Mr.
was,
Hussein
I mean.
were married, divorced in King County, have a child in common,
crazy.
Anthony. And the pending action pertains to Ms. Boriag's trip to the property in Thurston County and her concerns upon
So
seeing
wait,
the
so I'm just
condition.
trying to figure out who's who here. So all right, that's right. So
Janet
just
Johnson is the
reminding me
owner
here,
of
I've
that.
reviewed a dozen different petitions for this morning. I just have to kind of get my head in the game. So Ms. Boria and Mr. Hussein were married, they're divorced. There's a proceeding in King County about that. Ms. Johnson, you're now seeing Mr. Hussein.
Yes, and therefore
Okay.
at times cohabitates with Anthony as well as the
Okay.
partner of the
So
parent.
this order, if the court were to issue this order on behalf of Ms. Johnson, would interrupt the care, custody, or control of children.
Exactly.
Right now, the
Okay.
child does not have
She
time
just
with
told
us
you not
at
to
all.
talk.
Okay.
So it
But
should not
you,
disrupt
Ms.
that.
Johnson, let me ask
She
you a
has
question.
bangs, dude.
So
She
you
can
and Mr.
talk whatever she
Hussein
wants.
share a household, or at
We
least
have
live
two
together some part of the
households.
time? Okay.
We have two households.
She's going to be a
So
problem.
we're fully
Right.
able to handle everything with, if I have this restraining order granted, they're still fully able to co-parent per their parenting plan or not their parenting plan as they have been, and do whatever, handle their family law stuff separately. But me and my children are not a part of their family law case, and we never have been and never will be. So we fall under a separate case, separate jurisdiction if we want protection. And my children need protection from her and her abuse and her false filing and harassment and stalking and surveillance.
And her
At a
haircut.
time, Ms. Johnson. So Ms. Elliott,
Surveillance.
so you're asking, your motion is that
So
this be heard?
my motion is to dismiss on several grounds. Procedurally, first of all, Ms. Johnson doesn't live in Thurston County. She lives in Pierce County, which would have been the proper venue to bring this. Granted, that's a venue argument. Also, as the court noted, it was, I believe, would be pending in the wrong court. At the very least, when we pursued the possibility of filing a similar petition against Ms. Johnson, I was told by Thurston District Court that I needed to file in Superior Court because of Anthony's presence and involvement. And so if I am making a counterclaim, that may be an issue that the court would need to take up based on my evidence. And then also the fact that all of the claims that have been made essentially don't amount to a prima facie showing of either cyber harassment or harassment. And all of that evidence that's been presented is already considered in the context, either directly from the litigation in King County or has already been considered in King County and is part of the action here. So I'm moving to dismiss on those grounds. And then in the alternative, I
Breakfast
would
time in
like
Washington.
leave to move to realign the parties.
Breakfast is fun anytime.
Although we did not pursue an order just sort of
Debbie.
as an attempt to keep things as calm as possible, given the fact of this petition, I think it's time for us to pursue that.
So let me ask more about, all right, looking at the exhibits here, going back to whether this is the right court or not. And
Well, the Hussein, who is Hussein?
Hussein is somebody she has children with as well.
Okay, maybe
But she has her own family too. But yet, it is very, very confusing.
I thought Elliot was going to have a whole lot of
remember that
attitude,
there
but
were
it's Shannon with the attitude.
pleadings from King County filed in this court by the petitioner. Did you see something?
I think they're
There's
going
a
to try
lot
and
of
figure
them.
out if
Maybe I
they're
missed some.
filing in the wrong court.
Your Honor, the exhibits that were filed, the 76-page collection of exhibits, contains pleadings that we drafted in the King County case that were filed by the petitioner. They are pleadings of the respondent, my client, but they were filed by the petitioner as evidence
That
in
and
this
glasses, all of them.
Child administrative
Thank you, Baba. Try.
documents. I'm just not
The
finding
glasses trifecta.
King County Superior Court documents. Why am I missing those?
Parlayed glasses on screen.
I want to hear more about the
There we are.
surveillance.
All right. So the declarations that were filed. in
Cyber
case
stalking
19-357-495.
mentioned?
Okay. And is that case still ongoing?
It is, Your Honor. In fact, there's a hearing, I think, later this week in the same matter regarding the return on a restraining order that was issued in that case.
Okay. And the parties in that are your client, Mr. Hussein, and the kids that they share.
Correct.
You will be missed.
And the court there is making what decisions, what's up there?
So it's been a series of motions for temporary family law orders, generally around the condition of Anthony's physical care while visiting his father. It has sort of evolved over time, but the primary issue is his well-being, his care, and then also a recent issue where the day after a judge ordered against Mr. Hussein and ordered that the child needs to be put back on an airplane and returned to Kalispell, Montana, where mother lives, that he then failed to do that. And Ms. Boria had to actually physically go and retrieve her child because of that violation of that order. And that is the visit that Ms. Johnson is referring to, where my client went to their home, the home she shares with Mr. Hussein. And that was to retrieve her child as to rectify a violation of a court order.
Okay, so that Anthony is the minor.
Correct. He's the minor that they share in common. She also has her own minor children who live with Mr. Hussein, Ms. Johnson, Anthony, when all of them are present on their corresponding custody days.
And you're asserting as well then on one of your motions that the petitioner lives in Pierce County, not Thurston County?
Correct, Your Honor. The unimproved property is in Thurston County, but that's not their residence. They live in Pierce County at this time.
Let me jump to Ms. Johnson. The
Are there
address
three
you provided
parents?
for is in Yelm.
Yes,
Cougar
that
Village
is-
Lane.
I think so.
That is my property, and per Exhibit H in my filing, you can see the CPS
Could be.
disclosure, which references my property in Yelm. And if I do not live on that property, then why did Tiffany claim that I live on that property to file a CPS report? She
So
can't
you-
pick
you
and choose
live
where I
at
live.
that address that you provided the court here on the Cougar Lane.
Yes, I own that property.
You live on
there.
it? Is that your
Yes.
residence?
Yes, it
You
is.
Live there. You sleep there every night. That's what you.
Most nights, yes. There's my ex-husband and I are working out daycare issues, so there's times where I'm staying with my kids at his house. But
Okay.
yes,
At his house being whose house?
my ex-husband's house.
Okay.
Whoops.
All right.
Which one is it?
And then, so part-time in Thurston County, part-time in Pierce County.
Yes, but my permanent residency is in Thurston County. I own that property. I have no ownership or residency established at a Pierce County address.
Okay, all right. And so then, Ms. Elliott, then your part of this is if the court doesn't grant a motion to dismiss, you're asking to continue the case. You may be bringing counterclaims that bring what other information in?
So, in addition to the, our allegation that this is essentially abusive litigation, that this was filed in retaliation for some of the findings here in King County, there is also plenty of evidence to form a factual underpinnings that Ms. Johnson has in fact engaged in the kind of actions that she's alleging against Ms. Boria. I would like the opportunity to present that.
All right.
Oh boy.
We're all confused and learning as we go, and if we have time, we'll put it together.
A
There are
lot of
couple
moving
things
parts.
here.
Yeah.
This court, district court, it's a court of limited jurisdiction, Superior Court, named Superior Court for a reason. They have superior powers. And given what I'm hearing here, I'm gonna, I don't know if we can transfer directly to King County. We can transfer to Superior Court here.
Plus, there's this other county thing that's happening, and I think that's part of what's
Neither of
really
us
making
live
it-
in
clear to
King
me.
County.
So, well, I'm just trying to logistically here. I'm going to dismiss your action here. Ms. Johnson, it can still be filed, but I'm going to find that because all of the information that you filed with the court shows that there's a potential that an order on your behalf could interrupt the care, custody, and control of children of Mr. Hussein.
Are we
then
able to
it's-
amend the motion to
So
just?
let me
include
finish
my
and stop
children?
interrupting, please. I'm
I'm
going to
sorry.
dismiss this action. It's appropriate for Superior Court to hear
Thank
this. Now, I
you.
don't know
Love our lurkers.
yeah,
Jamie,
which
thank
one,
you.
and I don't believe that this court can transfer to outside of our boundaries.
Yes.
And Thurston County Superior Court doesn't sound particularly appropriate here, given what I've heard, but it doesn't end your action. It's up to you, though, to refile and find that Superior Court that would
Okay.
have those superior powers
I can
to
do that.
potentially
No, he's
grant you
there
an
for
order that
court.
would interrupt
We'll
the
see
care,
him in a
custody, and
minute.
control of children. So
That's the one I'm looking forward
that
to.
is for today. I'm granting that portion of the motion,
Shannon called him
and then leave it
her
leave it to you to
husband and
do
then
what
had
you'll
to
do, and leave it
go
to Ms.
back.
Elliott and Ms. Borjo what they will do.
Sounds good. Thank you. I
All
appreciate
right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. You can all be on your way.
We'll just pretend we all know
Okay,
what's going on there. on that one.
Elliot is mad because Elliot wanted to present the case. Elliot wanted to move forward.
There's things in other
Everybody
counties
lives
going on.
Yeah, everybody lives everywhere.
Yeah.
So her basically saying, "Hey, I don't
Okay,
feel like I have
second round, please.
jurisdiction in this, so I'm gonna just go ahead and dismiss it."
I'm gonna hand up the judgment.
Well, there's that sweet loving couple still in the pews. Maybe they're gonna get married next.
I think you
So,
handed me a blank one that you may want to save for later.
no, I didn't.
That could have potentially been a whole
right,
throuple situation.
so-
I did want to identify the changes or the things.
Three parents. While hot
West.
stuff is talking,
So,
we'll mute
yeah.
him for a minute. His case, I have no idea. It's something to do with the credit card, something.
Yeah.
But that last case, it sounded like there was two Wermans and a man, Mr. Hussein.
Mhm.
You know, you had Johnson. Johnson seems like she's got kids with everybody because she's staying at her other ex-husband who wasn't Hussein
Right.
house sometimes. So she couldn't even say she had permanent residence at one place or another. So it's very confusing.
And there's another case going on too, and she didn't want to rule on something too to mess up whatever's happening in that one.
Yeah, going into Superior Court for it. So at the end of the day, Tiffany didn't even get to say anything.
No.
I don't know if anybody noticed. Tiff just sat there quietly and didn't say a word.
I thought she didn't even have anything to do with the case. And so people were saying she did in the chat. I thought, what?
So before we went to it, the judge did talk to Tiffany, and Tiffany is the family lawyer for the other lady.
No.
The
Okay.
the woman that we heard her name that she had to go fly and pick up the kid or whatever. She was her attorney. So, and the judge was questioning that she had a right to practice law in that state because she was from another state. And she said, yes, she did have the right to practice law. She was a family lawyer. And she said, okay, well, I'm just asking because I don't know you. I haven't seen you before. So,
Yeah, talking to you, Allie.
Allie, glad you're here.
I've seen you before. Welcome.
So, yeah, it was a whole big thing going on with that. And it was very confusing. If somebody listens to that, it can sort that out better than what we just did. Please listen, because once again, we're not attorneys. We're just like you. We just love this kind of stuff.
I'm glad you got a good idea on what was happening there. And Leather and Lashes, you leaving us for the week? Are you really, you're going to Vegas, right? Is that really happening?
And
That's
she's
really a
going with
thing?
another family member.
Is this really a thing? I didn't know. All right.
I had got off the air confirmation that it is really happening.
All right. Well, whether on air or off air, we want to know how everything's going.
Yeah, I've already put in a request for details. Juicy, good and bad details. Don't need don't make it sound good for us. If it goes horribly wrong, tell us. We'll be happy to hear it. And remember, we're still family, even if it doesn't go well. Let's remember that. All right, we're going to jump on into this.
There it is. All right. Is this Miss Dix, Mr. Dix's girl? Or what?
Oh, yeah, Mr. Dix is there.
49. Let me get my documents up here. Everything's electronic, so I'm looking from screen to screen to see what everyone's filed.
Yes, I will be in LA starting on March 31st.
So, Mr. Auditor, I'll put you under oath again under this cause number. Raise your right hand. Excuse me. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And you need to unmute.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Stewart, raise your right hand with me. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Oh, what a
so
sweet girl.
You filed a petition asking for an order against Mr. Auditor. I see that Mr. Auditor was served appropriately personal service on February 19th and in sufficient time for this hearing. And let me just get your petition up here. All right. And so, Ms. Stewart, are you still asking the court for this order?
Yes, please.
All right. And Mr. Auditor, you ready to take this case up today?
Yes, ma'am.
So she's got one against him.
Let me just review things quickly, and then I'm going to turn to Ms. Stewart if there's anything more, and then I'll turn to you, Mr. Auditor, as well. But just give me a moment just to refresh.
Got to refresh while she's refreshing. Let's all refresh and remember to like the video. We're watching live court as it happens. We can't pause this because if so, they end it and we won't be able to see the end. So we'll try and reserve our comments for when we have lulls like this right here. Anyone that's new, please say hello. We'd love to hear from you. Chris, good to see you. Beautiful wood paneling by there behind Ms. Stewart. That necklace he keeps showing, that has to have some sort of significance. I'm sorry. The amount of playing with that has to have significance.
All right. So, Ms. Stewart, I have had a chance previous to today to review everything. You sent a lot of screenshots. There are a lot of those, and look through all those.
Sorry.
But it's okay. Is there anything else that you think, or something I should focus in on, or you want to draw attention to at all?
Your Honor, people have seen him driving around looking for me. I'm nervous all the time. He knows my whereabouts. He knows everything, and so I'm worried he's going to find me.
Everybody is.
He also
So
has
how
threatened
long-
my parents.
How long were you together?
Just about 6 months.
Okay. And then your impression is that you broke up the beginning of November of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And since then, has anything been happening since February 19th, just last week?
I heard that his car was driving around my boyfriend's house. That's the only thing I've heard.
And who did you hear that from?
My boyfriend and his father.
Okay. And your boyfriend is Mr. Dix?
Yes.
Stop
Okay.
shaking your head, Andrew.
And when did you hear all that?
That was last week.
Well, and anything other than that?
No, not since since he was served.
Okay. So these things that have been happening, if you can help me in timeframes, you just The only thing you tell me in most recent event was that you broke up in November and then things started happening, but you talked about, let's see, you say harassing. I don't know what that means, myself and my friends. I need a description of what do you mean by that? And is that when I go to the screenshots to
Yes.
review or,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Is there a particular, because harassing, what does that mean? What is he saying? What is he doing?
He's telling them that I'm a terrible person, and I have several friends now who are very upset because he's texted them and telling them that he tells them things that I've told him in confidence and uses it against me. Frankly, Your Honor, I think he just doesn't want me to be happy, and I just want him to leave me alone. I was going to file this before, but I was really hoping that he would just leave me alone, and he simply cannot.
And so,
Who's
you
handsome
talked
should
about
check the
things that
PP.
happened in August
Okay.
before you broke up.
She got that good cream.
They were the catalyst. He was removed from my home by the police because of his just craziness, basically. He threatened my dad when my dad went over there
Eric, get that
to
dog licensed.
remove him. And that was the catalyst. And then he found out that I was dating someone new, and it just broke it out to another level.
Okay, so in that time, was there any, were you harmed or your property harmed or threatened with harm?
No, just texts. Yeah, well,
text.
my
What's the
property
text
was
say?
threatened. The text threatened my property and myself. He's
And
told
so
me
what did
multiple
they
times
say?
they said that because he was drunk and out of control, and I left the house. I went to my brother's house. He found me in town and came to my brother's house, went into the house without permission, was escorted out, and he went back to my home. So I wasn't allowed to go back to my home. I had to stay
So
at my
what did the
brother's home.
text say? What
They
was
said that there's a picture of him holding a knife to his eye, that he's going to commit suicide. There's texts that say that he's ripped up the entire house, and I often order on Amazon. So he said, all your Amazon packages are destroyed. It's constant harassment. It's harassment. It's ridiculous.
I think
And
she has
those were the
proof
things
too.
that were happening before you broke up in November.
Well, that's when we broke up.
Okay.
Because he was not allowed in my home anymore. The neighbors are scared. The neighbors call us when there's a car outside front now because they're worried that it's Andy.
So, all right. So then closer to
Back to the
beginning of
necklace,
November
guys.
is when all those texts came in and
Yes.
then caused you to say, we're done. So when you say you broke up, how did you put that to Mr. Auditor?
He was arrested and taken away from my home. And when he called me from treatment, I told him that we were no longer together.
That's a nice breakup.
That's
And
smooth as silk
then
cream.
after that,
Who's saying it's for
then you received
$25?
further
Thank you.
contact from Mr. Auditor. That's what you're asserting.
Exactly.
And that came by text primarily?
Primarily, yes. Some phone calls, but text.
Okay, and did you, help me understand, did you immediately say, stop calling, stop texting, or did you engage in some discussion and then later, or what?
If you'll look at the text, Your Honor, most of them say, please stop calling me, please leave me alone. And he continues on and on.
She has a boyfriend, Officer Porkchop. His name is Mr. Dixon. He lives with his mom, I believe, or dad. Lives with the dad.
All right, so it's difficult.
looks
Sometimes something's in pink, something's in purple. I have to sort of divine who's saying
Oh,
what.
I'm sorry. The ones on that originate from the right side are my responses to him. I believe they're pink.
It is, yes.
Okay. So I've got something as recent.
Good arrest. That's always a great breakup.
But I have something as recently as early November that, if I'm correctly reading this, absolutely ... I love you too.
Yeah, I do love him. I want him to get help. I want him to get treatment. I
love him
want
like a
him to
brother.
leave me alone
Heard that
though.
before.
The most recent text, that was at the when he was in treatment, and he was asking me to bring him clothes and stuff. And I said I would, because I'm not a jerk. I just need him to get help, and I don't want to be involved with him anymore. The most recent texts are the ones that are blue and white. Those are from Facebook.
He's going to get a knife to put it to his eye.
Just have white.
Why your eye?
I don't know.
So the Facebook one.
Eyeball out.
I don't know if it came out. I've got
Not willing to kill myself, but I am willing to take out an eye.
Right.
around.
What you
Sorry.
did to me.
Sorry, I submitted a lot of things.
And so that
I want to apologize for turning in proof of things that he's done. That's not,
I can't wait to hear from Andrew. The necklace has a huge significance. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
All right. And someone else is involved in this. Amy is involved in this thread.
Yeah, Amy is my best friend. I blocked him on Facebook, but somehow he figured out how to make it a group chat. So he included my best friend in it as well.
Yeah, the I love you is a little.
So
Never tell somebody you loved them ever.
you came into
Ever.
see the court February 17th. So what caused you to come into the court finally?
She's not a jerk.
Because he was stalking me. We saw him. He came to the property, my boyfriend's property, came on the property. He was told to leave. He came by another 3 times. And then he filed a restraining order against my boyfriend. And I felt it was time to address this. Like I said, I was hoping that it would just go away and that he would just leave me alone. I should have filed earlier. I don't know why I didn't. I didn't because I didn't want the hassle of it, because as he's shaking his head right now, it's very obvious that he's angry about it. And I'm afraid now that he's going to come find me.
Okay. So then all these February 12th text messages that I'm reviewing, I think some aren't dated, but some say February 12th.
Yeah, they're
Remember,
all.
Andrew took out a protective order against her new boyfriend.
Yeah,
against Mr. Dix.
And then she took one out against Andrew.
That was the beginning of November.
Okay.
On the 12th is
So-
the day that he came over here and was driving around and around.
Okay, and so that's what caused you these text messages around the 12th, and then that event caused you to come to the court.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. And then they changed dramatically these text messages when he's talking. Let's see.
When he showed up here, he had a half gallon of vodka that was half drunk. So I'm assuming that he drank the rest of it and then started sending messages and driving around.
Oh, just a
So
quarter
since
gallon.
This is to both Amy and Andy are both on these threads, and this is coming to you. Who is he referring to when he's insulting, you or Amy?
Me.
Okay.
Your Honor, no, I was insulting Amy. I hate that bitch.
And some of this is all right.
I mean, but Beret Dudley here, he's had a little too much
And
to
why?
drink.
Maybe you can say particularly why is it that you're concerned about Mr. Auditor having contact with you?
Because he lives just down the street from my boyfriend. He knows where I'm at a lot of time. He claims that he's a gang member and has the tattoos to prove it. I don't know. I don't know what he'll do. He often makes stories up in his head and starts believing them himself. And I'm worried about his mental health, and I can't handle it anymore. It's too much. It's over my head all the time.
Why do you
That
think
thug
this is
life
gonna
chose him,
translate into
son.
Violence against you or your property, or
Because
Part
it
of the Hat
has.
Gang.
okay? Tell
He's
me
put
about
hands
that.
on me before. He's chased me around my house when I won't
When
talk
was
to him.
that?
That was probably in October. It happened several times. He'd get drunk and start accusing me of nonsense, and then would chase me around the house. There was one time I went outside hoping that he'd leave me alone. There was one time I locked myself in the bathroom.
I believe a necklace.
He's ripped the phone out of my hand several times. And in doing such, thrown me across the room. Like, it's just, he's proven that he will lay hands on if he decides to.
All right. And that was near the end of the relationship in October. All right.
Yes.
His only gang is the gang green.
Questions for you before I turn to Mr. Auditor. Give me a moment.
He's
just
got
to
the
look at-
gout. Okay, but that was great.
That's you gotta love the things men say to women to try and intimidate them or make them think that they're dangerous or bad boys.
By the way, I hate to say this, but I think he's 100%
Anything
guilty, and I
else
think it's
before
all
I
true.
turn to Mr. Auditor?
I don't believe so.
Allegedly.
All right. And do you have that? Got it, thanks. All right, so Mr. Auditor,
Let's hear it, bud.
your
you got to say,
opportunity to
dude?
respond to this petition. And if you want me to look at anything in particular, let me know. I didn't see anything that you filed in particular, but that's fine.
Well, there was a couple of messages that I sent this morning via email, but
nice teeth.
You know, it's kind of just basic responses to all the
Slow down.
stuff.
So you
I stopped.
sent some information to the court this morning?
Yes.
Okay, did you send it to CC? Or how did you send
Yes,
it
I
to
did.
us?
I got the confirmation that it has been filed.
Okay.
He's
I'm
fucking
gonna
awesome.
have my clerk kind of dig around there and see what we've got. So just give me a moment so we can look at what you filed.
taking
and
very
see what
well,
it is.
Close.
Even this morning, I understand. I haven't had a chance.
You guys think I smoke a lot?
It was about 8 o'clock this morning. I'm sorry. It was slow.
We're gonna see what we've got.
Shake it up. He's got a sports broadcast to do later.
Didn't expect him to have such a raspy voice, by the way. But it goes
Hey,
with
I-
her. Fine.
I need you to come over here.
Okay, so the information
got
that
better
you filed
teeth.
against Mr. Dix, you want the court to consider here as well?
Well, there was a couple of messages from Miss Stewart, and it was pretty much calling me a piece of garbage and F around and find out, and I better have a plane ticket back to Texas. And
Watch out, Texas.
And
Here he
what
comes.
ended up in 3 documents here is text messages, Amy and Alyssa again.
yes, that was the actual, she made a photo or like a video call with me and her. That's why the chat still remains.
Let's go
And
back to February 12th as well.
yes, February 12th around midnight-ish, because she claimed that I'm not responding anymore. And why? Because I'm scared, and it just goes forward and so forth.
All right, so these 3, so this was
Somebody just
already
farted. Did you hear
information
that?
you,
Yeah, I
this
heard
is
that.
part of your discussion that you had with Ms. Stewart. Amy was included on these, and there are 3 of them, and they're all from February 12th and 13th, going into the very early morning hours.
Yes.
of the 13th. Okay.
Yeah, we have not had any contact after the 12th, and no parties involved.
All right, so this is stuff already known to Ms. Stewart then. Let me
Great
just
state of
review
Washington.
this.
Washington.
I would hope so. She's the one that sent them.
We love you. We're glad you're here. We actually mean it. We're not like Alyssa over here just tells Andrew she loves him for no damn reason. Maybe so he won't pop his eyeball out with a knife or tear up any more Amazon packages. I'm not sure which one.
And I just want to say I'm also I'm not innocent of saying ugly things. There was stuff and languages used that I wouldn't say in front of my grandmother.
Languages.
Yeah.
Come on, baby. Shake it up.
That turned the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that?
What languages was he
So
speaking, you
there's a-
think? Beyond English.
Also, I do have video surveillance of her showing up to my job that following Monday. And my boss had to tell her that she was going to be trespassed if she didn't leave the property.
Well, can we see it,
Well, what
dude,
about the
please?
petition, you know, and some of the information I've heard here, you know, and it's reiterated in one of these texts. It's talking about, you know, remember when you threw me across the room because you ripped the phone out of my hand because you were drunk, pictures of bruises. You know, neither one of you are very nice to each other at this stage.
No, we're not.
but her petition for this protection order and the allegations made there, anything?
Yeah, it's, I want both parties involved completely out of my life. I have a warehouse that is located right next to her current boyfriend. And the text messages I provided state that he will do bodily harm to me if I go over there.
That little dude?
So
Yeah.
this has just become a giant.
That petition at another time, but this is the one that Ms. Stewart's filed against you.
Yeah, I want nothing to do with her. There will not be any contact. There will not be anything. It's just a broken relationship that didn't make it.
Hot flashes over here, and then little dude and big guy. Sorry.
Is there an objection to the court signing off on this order?
Just in case I decide to go and purchase a house or anything, I don't want any kind of. I noticed that it was checked domestic violence, but there was never any police involvement. So that's the only thing that worries me, because domestic violence states that, that there's a serious problem, and there wasn't.
Okay, so the temporary order here was under the harassment laws.
Okay, because the one I'm looking at, it's check domestic violence, RPRT.
Are you looking at what's titled temporary protection order and hearing notice?
Yes, ma'am.
And the check there is under harassment, RAH?
No, it's under RPRT, domestic violence.
And there's no check there by the judicial officer.
He's an RF.
Yeah, I like how he's
And that's as to let me look at this. All right. I see. Okay. Get into that case. Okay. And that was.
I thought that was Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah, it's Kelly Clarkson.
All right. Let me see if I have any other questions of you here.
He needs to be worried about it. He's like, yeah, I just want to, you don't want somebody having a
Do you believe that he wants out of all this, and he wants
No.
No way in hell.
He's already
There's
brought
no
up
way.
something about buying a house somewhere and it being near her.
And as far as the police
Anything
being
else,
involved,
Mr. Auditor, I should consider about this petition?
yes, ma'am. As far as me being removed from the household, I actually called the police on myself because I wasn't in a right stage, and I decided I needed some help. So they took me voluntarily to St. Peter's Hospital. It was not an arrest.
I would like to contest that, Your Honor.
Slow down, Ms. Stewart. I'm hearing from one person at a time here. So
No problem.
And I actually have text messages to prove that, stating that I
Mr. Law-
called the police.
Well, Mr.
So,
Auditor, tell me, you called the cops on yourself, and why did you do that?
yes, ma'am. Because I was
Why?
not in the right state of mind. I was emotional, just very, very emotional. And that's one thing I can actually thank Ms. Stewart for, is me being able to realize that I need to go get help. So
I love hard, Your Honor. Real
That
hard.
was the event in November, or the event in February?
that was the event in November.
Okay.
And I was voluntary the whole time. I have paperwork proving that as well.
Okay, and that's fine. And then you put yourself into treatment, and then when did you?
Jennifer.
So February things started happening again. I have all these screenshots and text messages from February, and
Yeah,
what do you-
there was just she said a few things to me, and yes, it was in confidence, but I believe that her friends had the right to know what she actually thought about them.
Okay.
And that's what started this entire ordeal.
He's
And did you understand, what did you understand from your text messaging before February about Ms. Stewart's desire to have any contact with you?
We were actually doing really well on not talking. And when I showed up at Jason Dix's house, it was actually to try to calm the situation down. It was not any animosity. I mean, it was just a, hey, we broke up. You guys are together. Take care of her kind of thing. I don't want any trouble with anybody. And then on Super Bowl Sunday, the 12th, I just massive phone calls after I relayed to Amy and Meryl Shapiro that Alyssa's thoughts of them. And it was petty, I admit. Yes.
Okay.
Ted's of Beverly Hills.
But there was some contact throughout your time before February. Did you understand that Ms. Stewart did or did not want you to be contacting her? What did you understand there?
It was, from what I understand, it was just just an ugly breakup. That's literally it.
Very ugly, apparently.
What did you think about her wanting you to have contact with her? Did you?
I guess score an ex-lover. I don't know.
That she didn't.
She said, "I love
want to
you"
have
to her.
contact.
Oh
with
no,
you? What did you-
if she was replying, that automatic just kind of made me think you're still going to say something. But no, I'm looking at it in hindsight. I probably should not have said anything to her.
Okay. All right.
Probably a lot he shouldn't have done.
Trying to get her in trouble with her friends.
Oh, it is. Did you see him show it too? He let it.
Oh yeah, he showed it to her, and you've seen her react a little bit.
So I've looked at, obviously in preparation, I've looked at all the files today and focused herein on this case 2349 is Stewart's request for an order against you. I do find under that domestic violence case that there was previous violence committed against her, which would qualify as domestic violence in your relationship, and that this order should issue against you, given the continued contact and harassment. So I'm issuing this order. You're not to have contact with Ms. Stewart. You have to stay 1,000 feet away from wherever she is. Don't contact her through family, friends, social media, texting in any way. Stay away from her residence. Are you working, Ms. Stewart? Is that a concern? That you're
No.
from a workplace? Okay.
No.
Residence, vehicle, person. So just, I
Hello, I
understand
work.
that everybody seems to know each other from before, and Mr. Dix, you've known him before. You're not to contact her through Mr. Dix either. And we're going to take up that petition a later time, Mr. Auditor, your petition against Mr. Dix, and we'll hear all that.
I have a feeling him and
I do
Mr.
have a
Dix
question now.
were
If
friends.
she shows up at my work again, what am I supposed to do?
Well, this order restrains you, and Ms. Stewart, it would be beholden on you, I would think, to keep your distance from someone who you.
I have no intention. No intention. I went there to try to talk to a
Idea.
supervisor who did not tell me that I was trespassing, but understood what I was saying when I said he needs to leave me
So is
alone.
this a business that you need to frequent, or?
No, not at all. I went there
Okay.
to ask his supervisor for some help because he is friends with his supervisor. That was the only reason I was there. It was right after he sent all the messages, and I said, can you please talk to him?
So that stops. Don't put
Yeah,
yourself
absolutely.
in a position.
No.
That.
No,
of
no
dangerous
intention.
that
No.
court has made this finding.
Yes.
Don't put yourself in that situation.
You don't look
I will.
22 at all, Flusher.
The only way, if Mr. Auditor violates the provisions of this and tries to contact you, then, you would call 911, but I think Mr. Auditor here, at least we've heard from him, he has no desire to do that. And if you don't put him in a position that he has to fall across you at his work, then that shouldn't
I
be a
will not.
problem.
Will not.
All right, so,
Your Honor, I'm actually glad this got resolved. Thank you very much.
okay, so I'm gonna sign off on this order, and then it'll be in the court
pumped, Your
file.
Honor.
I'm sending emails out to everybody. Yes, we'll send an email with this to each of you, and there's no need for service, as everyone was here and knows the provisions, and we can get it to you here. So,
Does my temporary no contact still involve Jason? Is that still in effect?
Can I get a hold of
that-
him?
Nothing's changed there. That case was just continued.
All right.
So everything is the same there. All right. Thanks, Mr. Auditor, and Ms. Stewart, you can be on your way.
Thank you so much.
Well, that was an interesting one.
To say the least, Creed. A lot went on there. That guy's allegedly, from everything we've heard, pretty crazy. Definitely, I would want one. Him and Jason were Mr. Dix. We'll refer to him only as Mr. Dix from here on out. Mr. Dix and him, obviously, were friends. And yeah, he stole his worming. Well, he was.
I think you're right about the friend thing. That makes a lot of sense, and that would be partially why they would get that one against him first. However, Mr. Dix may have went after him quicker because, you know, he might have seen a message or knew that, like, he's sitting there saying, hey, I still love you. I mean, that's a big deal. I understand. I've seen Wormans do that before.
And for her to say she loved the man still, come on. What's there to love?
The other thing I want to point out too is that I guess after a slew of bad messages and stuff, that's when she ended up showing up at his work. After all those bad messages, I thought that was a bit odd.
Yeah, that's a I don't know, kind of a bad thing to do. I wouldn't advise that.
I advise that though. Too sweet. Thank you for the $5.
Sweet. Thank you. Much love. It was definitely very interesting. If you get a chance, go back and rewatch it because there was a lot of little nuggets all throughout that definitely. I'm not saying she strung him along at all. I'm saying she was exactly. Thank you, Jamie. She was sending a lot of mixed messages. And this guy was getting his hopes up. He was thinking, you know, so what you're saying is there's still a chance. And that's why I think he kept on and on. And that he got that necklace back from her, by the way, and he played with it and showed it to her.
You called that very early on.
He would take her back in a second.
Yeah.
A second. He would erase.
I didn't believe any of the stuff that he was saying about, that. No, you didn't send more, did whose hands did we get?
Send more? We shouted you out for the 25 bones.
Hell were you?
I even said shout out to James. I don't even know if you heard that.
Now the case before that was an odd case that I still don't understand. But Mikey tried to explain it to me like I was a 5-year-old, and I'm still confused. So
I may have explained it wrong. I saw Jennifer was in there and she had an explanation. I think it's one of those things that we can all agree was a big cluster F.
Yes,
so
it was for sure. Speaking of cluster Fs, coming up mini chase Monday at 4:05 East for We Gotta Chase, and then Mikey said we got a doozy, get ready for members only. At 5:30 East, members only for the We Gotta Chase channel.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. Still time to become a member over there if you want to not miss out on all that action. Credence.
Yeah, Steve. Listen, when you get good ones like that, and it'll be 2 hours.
Do you want to watch the Middleton thing real quick?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Which I have already put up for people to.
Okay, hell yeah! I didn't watch
it.
You said we were going to watch it. So.
I told you that was going to happen. Okay, now, okay, let's hope they monetize you, because make sure they if they come and say no, you better have a good reason why, because they're going to know why they should let you have it. But if you can become monetized, that's going to be a lot of fun. Kay puts up a lot of great stuff over there on her channel. A lot of fun. Some of the stuff you've seen here, but some of it you have not.
Well, you pull that up and look at Judge Hottier's.
Hey now.
Oh, there's Kurt.
So Middleton came on this morning in his usual fashion. And I guess they're doing some sentencing and stuff like that. And this lady was supposed to be in court that morning. She did not come because I guess she was feeling under the weather. I guess that's a good excuse these days. If you got to get out of anything. Also, I saw a thing if you want to get a fake positive on a C word test, all you got to do is use some Sunkiss and it'll give you a fake. So
Paul is Max Headrooming.
Yeah, he's Wing Chunging. He's doing it all, Creed.
No, I'm not. Ask Tony to come in here.
Paul's
Good
having
morning,
a time.
everyone. We're still working the bugs out on our new system, and thank you to everybody from Key West to Manitoba.
Key West to Manitoba. Shout outs this morning. Look at him.
He's still in Key West vacation mode. He was just there last week. Kiara's very nice lighting and hair, by the way.
I don't know why my Zoom is messing up.
Paul, it looks great.
Paul, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't
In your
know.
hair.
That's been going on and off. I don't know if it's us or the system. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
On weekends, Paul
Jordan, are
cosplays
you
as
seeing what
Loki
I'm
at
seeing
kids'
on
birthday
Paul's
parties.
Yes, and my Zoom was doing that a few weeks ago, and I had to update the application on my computer, and then it stopped. So,
Okay, I have a feeling that I need to do something. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm going
So
to try
maybe
that.
it's at your end. It is 10:31. I don't know if
He is a little
gonna be here
sleazy.
from the
Is that a
prosecutor's
stuffed
office.
dog
I know
behind
they're
you?
quite busy this morning. They are
What the hell is
short-handed.
that?
We have a number of tough
Stuffed dog?
sentences to do today.
It's a collie, I think.
The first of which is 2 files on Kiara Jewel Lawson. File 222358 SM is a domestic violence, and Mr. Paul Gibson represents Miss Lawson in that.
Paul's a
case.
nice dude, by the way, if you guys don't know.
File 221781
He does have beautiful
is
hair.
an earlier domestic violence case with Kiara Jewel Lawson, and Jordan Yancey represents her in that case. Both matters are set for sentencing this morning.
Look at that.
Autumn Kiefer has
Look, it's
prepared
fixed.
a pre-sentence report, which was very helpful.
I did
She's
not get a
quite-
copy of that, Your Honor.
I'm sorry.
I understand she's busy. I just,
What does
Well,
this
let me
dog
see
you
if I
mean,
can-
Hector?
Send it to you.
thank you.
It's a beautiful dog.
Yeah. Oh, wouldn't that be amazing?
I don't think that I got it either.
Didn't
Judge
you?
Middleton would be fun to talk to, no doubt.
Well, I apologize.
You think Paul and Middleton
I
talk
didn't know it's
hair
because
ever?
I filed my
Like,
HIDA
off the
petition
record?
on
Hair product?
January
Yeah.
30th, that maybe she didn't prepare. I don't know.
You can see him with his hair down sometimes in the mornings when he says hi to everybody.
Oh, it's middle back for sure. Oh no, Paul. Oh no, Paul. Watch his mouth. He's got like his mouth.
Thank you, Special Task Force.
Oh, you're the best. Look, everybody's just like watching him, and they're like,
Yeah.
trying not to say anything. Look, he's
Also, I love this court because it's just it's such a different pace. And so I always have to give that warning when we're just like going through court, and all of a sudden go over to see Middleton. It's just like,
you hear Milton over there just typing.
All right. This was supposed to be live, and we got a call, I don't know, about 9:30 from Jordan Yancey indicating the defendant was ill and had transportation problems. So, Kiara, what can you tell me about what's going on this morning?
Well, I'm really sick and I didn't want to come to the courts and get everyone else sick.
Sure.
I'm gonna make me a doctor's appointment in a few after my court hearing
Mhm.
and see what's wrong with me. I did take a COVID test last night. It was a rapid one and it said negative though.
Negative as in good or negative as in bad
All right,
news?
well, we're all here. I don't have
Full
anyone
headroom.
from the prosecutor's office, but maybe they'll join us.
Go, man.
Have you guys got the pre-sentence report yet?
I did, Your Honor. Thank you.
I apologize.
She's so sick.
We've got
Look at his mouth. My name is Paul. My name is Paul.
issues regarding deferral status, and if the case is placed in HIDA status, as you indicate, Jordan, it's to be
Probably.
non-public. So I'm going to go off live.
So he's going to
stream.
cut it off because
We'll be back shortly.
her sentencing is going to be non-public, and I don't know why.
Matter is to be,
I don't know why.
Well, we haven't determined what it's going to be, but in case it becomes non-public.
Paul's the best.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, the part with the mouth. I love how it was like a slow build up to the mouth part.
Oh yeah, the mouth where he was actually talking. If you don't mind, also guys, check out. I made a short of that set to Wang Chung tonight. So make sure you check that out on our shorts. Creed, thank these folks, and we're gonna walk out of here standing up.
Let's do that. I think today deserves some goodbye music.
All right.
I think that
that good.
That only makes sense. There it is. I had to find it. So
that's all right.
Dust it off a little bit. It was a long weekend. Guys, we'll be back 4:05 East for We Gotta Chase Mini Chase Monday, and again 5:30 p.m. East. We'll be back for Members Only. Thank you so much for Deb, just Deb, as the conductor. Bud, Mama Tribe, Leather and Lashes, Gary, Jamie, Georgia, who's handsome, too sweet, all of y'all, as they say in the South, y'all. Thank you. Appreciate it. Lots of new faces today.
Lots of new names, new faces. 530 new subscribers in the last 28 days. That's good for us. That's really good. So
yeah, 11.6K it says. My God.
Yeah, we'll be at 12,000 before you know it. Where's Ted at when we need him?
Ted's still here.
Ted, you son of a bee. All right, guys, we love you. We'll see you for the next one. Make sure you like, subscribe, and check out our Case Only channel. We Got a Case over on YouTube. So please subscribe over there. We're about 250 away, I think, from hitting 1,000 like Kay. We can hit 1,000 over there. We'd appreciate that because eventually that's where all the court cases will be one day. Till then, though, stay in touch with yourself. Keep reaching for the stars. And if you can't be good, ooh, be good at it, Creed.
And Georgia Peach, glad to see you back and glad things are going good.
Still stay healthy and safe.